The Nintendo Switch had an assload of great games in 2017, but many naysayers aren't too fond of the fact that a good chunk of those games were ported over from the Wii U and other consoles in general. And if you happen to be one of those people, then I'd advise you brace yourself for 2018, because there's sure to be plenty more Wii U ports to come. And I'll tell you 7 reasons why. But before I do, I dare anybody new to this channel to press that subscribe button. Anyway, let's begin! Number 1. Wii U ports are quick and easy to make. The main complaint people have with porting Wii U games over to the Switch is that it wastes time that could be spent on developing a brand new game. And while I do agree that brand new games are definitely more important than ports, the fact is that it only takes about 8 minutes worth of time and effort to port Wii U games over to the Switch, as I've quoted Reggie-san saying a few times on this channel recently. And to prove my point, the recent announcement of Bayonettas 1 and 2 slated for re-release on the Switch in February was followed up with Bayonetta 3 also being announced as in development. I suppose in development technically means we might not see it for a few more years, but I doubt that to be the case, or at the very least I doubt the Bayonetta ports took that much time to prepare. I'm almost certain that these ports taking so long to finally make it to the Switch was more of a timing issue than anything else. After all, there were like 786 good Switch games released for the holiday season, so rather than getting lost in the shuffle, why not let the Bayonetta ports be the most notable games for the month of February? And going back to why ports are probably like 1,000th the amount of work of creating a new game from scratch, just think about how much work goes into making a video game. I'm no expert, but as far as I know, making a brand new video game from scratch requires things like coming up with an idea, concept art, creating music and sound effects, having to break fights up between the programmers because one of them switched the sausages out with turds in the spaghetti during lunch. And if it's a story-driven game, which most are to some extent, you need to write scripts and hire voice actors too. Never mind translators for localizing games for other countries. And everything I just mentioned is only scratching the bare-ass surface of the matter. So compare that to porting a game to another console when all the things I've mentioned are already finished. I'm sure porting games isn't as easy as copy and pasting, but I highly doubt the time it takes to port Wii U games over to the Switch is significant enough to hinder the creation of a new one. Number 2. Nobody's even played any of these games on the Wii U in the first place. If my dad passes out and shits his underpants in the jungle, does it make a sound? That's right, so if you haven't played it, then it's new to you.
Oh, now I get it!
Even if you owned a Wii U, there's a good chance you didn't play every notable game for it. I know my ugly ass still hasn't. In fact, going back to Bayonettas 1 and 2, I didn't have time to play those when they initially came out on the Wii U because I was too busy putting my dad up for adoption. And if you think that sounds hectic, then don't even get me started on what I was doing when Bayonetta 1 was released on the PS3 and Game Gear. So I can't wait to be able to play these games this time around, because February is probably when I'll be finished juggling these 87 games I've been playing lately. And specifically for Bayonetta 2, I'm sure most of the 14 billion Switch owners weren't among the 840,001 people who played it on the Wii U. And for the people that owned a Wii U didn't play Bayonetta 2 like myself, I'm certain that a good handful of them would be more interested the second time around. Whether it be because they didn't have time to play it the first time, didn't own a Wii U, or just want to play it again and own a portable version. Which leads me to number 3. The Switch is portable, dummies, remember? Apparently it's okay to port PS3 and 4 games to the Vita and Wii U games to the 3DS, but all hell breaks loose when you port more than 2 Wii U games over to the Switch. And every time Nintendo announces a new port, there's always somebody on the internet who decides to be a comedian and duke all over Nintendo's urinal. My point is that if the Switch were only a portable device, then I doubt anybody would even notice so many last-gen games being brought over. So for all the anti-porters out there, the next time you bare-ass spray fart on Reggie-san's face while he's minding his own business in public, just remember that you can play Switch games wherever you want, like in the kitchen or while you're driving. Number 4. People want Wii U ports. For every individual anti-porter out there, there's at least 12 million people who want to play Wii U classics like Sonic Boom on the Switch. And since people like last-gen ports for various reasons I've already talked about, the cool kids Sony and Microsoft have been providing last-gen ports on their consoles as well. But does that mean Nintendo should do it? Well, if Wilford Brimley jumped off a bridge, would you jump too? Of course you would, because Wilford Brimley's a badass. And since so many people don't have a problem with there being so many ports on other consoles, myself included, then of course Nintendo will jump on top of this so people will actually play these Wii U games that countless developers worked so hard on. It's just an obvious decision for N-Dog to make if they know people want it. Number 5. Wii U ports are always better on the Switch. I wouldn't even mind if games were being copy and pasted from the Wii U to the Switch, but in every case that I'm aware of, Switch versions have always had more than just portability as a selling point. Typically, Wii U ports on the Switch have all the DLC from the original versions and even exclusive extras on top of all that more often than not. And like I said, if you haven't played these games before, then there's even more incentive than ever to do so now. Number 6. It makes old games feel new again. Most people who didn't play these games on the Wii U before probably never will if they aren't ported over to the Switch. After all, who's going out and buying Wii U's on the aftermarket at this point, besides my neighbor Terry so he could play Nintendo Land with his friend Cup? For better or worse, it's been proven numerous times that re-releasing old games makes them feel new again, which will motivate people to go out of their way to make sure they don't miss playing these games again. But not for the most important reason why Wii U games being ported over to the Switch is inevitable. Number 7. Nobody's being forced to buy them. For the 4 or 5 people on the internet who don't like Wii U ports on the Switch, Nintendo and other publishers for that matter aren't making you or anybody else buy them. In fact, as with every other game that's ever been released, any developer porting Wii U games over to the Switch is actually taking a risk, albeit a calculated one that'll most likely pay off. And since Nintendo's not making anyone buy these games, there shouldn't be any negative PR to go along with it. And since the risk is very low with no bad will involved, there's no reason not to do it. And no bad reasons counts as a good reason, which is what number 7's all about. And since it's already been established that porting Wii U games over to the Switch is cheap, fast, and easy like my hot grandma, plus the fact that there's an assload of people out there who may or may not have played these games before and want to play the enhanced portable versions of them, then why would Nintendo not capitalize on giving fans something they want and will enjoy? Well, yeah, they have done it before, but ever since the Switch came out, they've learned most of their lessons. And above all else, the Wii U had some awesome games, so why let them sit in limbo for the rest of eternity? It's not even a case of Nintendo giving the middle finger to anybody who bought a Wii U, since the people who played these games already don't have to buy them again, even though many of us are gonna anyway. So don't let your feathers get ruffled over it, because the rest of us are having fun, or at the very least not being negatively affected by these Wii U ports in any way. So now that I cleared this mess up, what Wii U games do you want to see ported over to the Switch? Are there any last-gen games from other consoles you might not have played? Are there any non-Wii U games you want to see brought over? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll pin whatever I find most entertaining. Since you made it to the end of this video, I'd assume you like it, so don't forget to press that like button and share this video if you want to help this channel grow. And if you're a super duper ultra mega badass, then why not go ahead and press the subscribe button? My name's Cameron, and I'll see you next time.
So I want to say thank you to your loyalty, thank you for your support.